know that cumulative review is really important. One, because we don't want to get rusty on any of our skills. We want to make sure that by the time the leap comes, that you feel as confident about something we learned about in October as you do about what we learned today in math. And so all of these review problems are going to help us do that. Go ahead and track my board up here. I have Elijah's eyes. Same with Tiana. Thanks for that, Sean. Tiana, making me feel great. So problem number 1 is going to be our focus problem today. It's going to be our what?
Focus problem!
Okay, this is the problem that every one of you is going to nail today. Who's going to nail it? Everyone. Good. So before we get started on that focus problem, I want to go over some really important CFS for how to solve these types of problems. Javelle, can you read that first box for me, or this first CFS? Everyone, the first thing we're going to do is what?
Annotate!
Yeah, and that's for like every math problem, Mia, we ever solve. What is the second CFS? Justice?
Write label equation.
Right, no naked numbers. So when you write your equation, you got to make sure it has what? Labels. Okay, Michael, can you read that third one?
So how you
Convert.
from 10 to 100.
So some of you can do that math in your head, but Ms. Bunis wants you to show me how you convert from tens to hundreds. And Chris, read this last one.
You write equations and solve.
We're going to rewrite our equation and solve once we've converted tens to hundreds, okay? So track up here. Ms. Bunis solved this problem this morning. I solved 5 hundredths plus 6 tenths equals 11 hundredths. Think about it. Think about it. I already see some hands. Think about it. Hands down. When I say go, in Cortez, you're going to turn to talk to Justice and Julia. When I say go, you're going to turn and talk with the person sitting next to you about whether you agree or disagree with how Ms. Bunis solved it and if I need to change anything. We're going to be talking at a level 1. Q, Michael, and Zoe, can you talk? And Tyreek and Mia, you're going to be partners. Go ahead and go. I think. Okay, if you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times. All right, go ahead and fix how you're sitting for me, please. All right, go ahead and track Justice in the back. Thanks, Q Michael, for already tracking Justice. Justice, what do you think about Ms. Bunis' work? I feel pretty confident about this. I don't know. What did I need to make both of the units, Cassidy? Say it one more time. I needed to change both this unit into tenths into what, everyone?
Hundreds!
What would I have multiplied 6 tenths by to change that to hundredths? Okay, Vaughn? 10 tenths. So we're going to multiply our tenths by what, everyone?
10.
To turn both of the units into what?
Hundreds.
Okay. Ms. Bunis doesn't want you to just do that in your head. Ms. Bunis needs you to show me that equation. So here's what's going to happen, team. In a minute, when I say go, you are all going to flip over your papers, and you are all going to get started, not yet, friends, when I say go, Chris, at a level 0. And the very first problem that you're going to get started on is our focus problem today. It has a star on it so that you know. Ms. Bunis is going to be walking around, and I am looking for people who are reading and annotating the problem and writing that labeled equation. That is what you will be getting checks on your paper for during this first lap. You may silently flip over your paper and begin. Javelle is getting started at that level 0. Chris is annotating that problem. Michael annotating that problem. And Cassidy's writing her labeled equation. Remember, Remember, teammates, no naked numbers. Teammates, put your pencils down and track me. Protested it right away, so did Amani. On every person's paper, I see you guys changing your tens to hundreds. I'm missing that first CFS, which is to write a labeled equation. So I need to see the equation that you are solving to figure out this problem, and I need to see you write which one number is Amy's and which one's Michael's. Go ahead and start that on your paper now. I see Sage has labeled Amy and Michael's, same with Chris. Now Ms. Bunis wants to see who is rewriting that equation now that it's converted to tenths and hundreds. And so I'll be coming around to see that. If you finish the focus problem, team, just move on. Good. Yes. There you go. So Layla has already moved on to that next problem. Okay. So I see two fractions. Holy, finish that equation for me right now. So what are you going to do with those two numbers? This number you annotated. Right here. What are you going to do with these two numbers? So what symbol do I need to see between those two? Okay. This is 3 tenths, that's 3 hundredths. So you multiply 10 to 8, multiply this by 10. What did you forget to do? Okay, that seems important to put on your papers. There you go. Okay, so what fraction is that? Huh? Did you write that? There you go. Nice labels on your equation though. Okay, so you have this amazing equation here. I'm looking at all these numbers. I don't know which fraction is Amy's and I don't know which fraction is Michael's. What can we add to that so that I know that when I look at it? What are you going to add to your equation? What kind of equations do we always write, Amani? When I write a math equation, what do I need to do with the numbers in that equation before I start solving? Leonard is still at a level 0, working the whole time, same with Sage. What do you say we need to do? Write a blank equation. There it is. Is your equation labeled? Okay, so So you're gonna go back, you annotated it, go back and add those annotations. As Ms. Bunis is walking around, I'm continuing to give checks for scholars who are annotating now every problem, because everyone is finished with that first focus problem. Nice job. You're moving on to the other ones, but you are annotating every single problem. See a lot of excellent annotations on every problem, boxing keywords, circling those numbers. Make sure for every problem, teammates, you're still showing me your thinking. I want to see work for every problem. Ah, there you go. Interesting. What is this? What is that? What label can you add to that? Hit stop on the timer. All right, team. For number 4, you're writing an equation to match that. Ms. Bunis, right now I'm coming around for number 4. If you're on number 4 or you've done number 4, I want to see labels on that equation. I see a lot of naked numbers. So right now, if you've already done number 4, add those labels. If you are just starting number 4, make sure you're adding those labels. That's what I'm coming around to check right now. So I see Leonard adding labels to that equation for number 4. I see Elijah adding labels. Cassie's also added those labels. We got about 4 minutes left. Make sure that you are reading and annotating every problem, circling numbers, boxing keywords, underlining that question. Make sure that you are also labeling your equation. There's some naked numbers here. I don't know what this 5 is, so you know what this 3 false is. What labels and words from the story can we write to label that? Come on, you pencil moving the whole time, dear. You got it. Read and annotate the problems. If it's tricky, move on to the next problem. Okay, we're starting the annotation. And this is the, okay, this is in what fraction of half is. So, these are what's covered. How do we figure out what fraction is not covered? Which one is this one? Okay, so this is Paul Maskins. Oh, this is the one you circle. So it should be this side. Is it on that side? And you're right. Look at me. Trust that gut of yours. He lead you in the right direction. Okay, we're on the right track. These are the tall trees, these are the small trees. This is how much is covered by the trees, right? Okay, the question is asking for what fractions of the is not covered by trees. So if you know that this is how much is covered by trees, and then if you can figure out how much is not covered by trees. All right, mathematicians, go ahead and have those pencils down, tracking me at 5. Thanks, Tiana, for already being there. 4. Thanks to Layla for putting the pencil down right away in 3, 2, 1, and 0. Friends, the good news is everyone nailed our focus question. Say, way to grow us.
Way to grow us.
That's a big deal, friends. 100% of us converted tenths to what? Hundreds. We were a little slow moving on the labeling equations, but we all got there. And I know, Amani, that on our test next week, when we get a question like this, what are we going to make sure to add to our equations? Everyone?
Labels.
When I say go, you need to grab your binder, your paper, and a pencil, and walk calmly to a carpet square. Go. 10. Alayla's walking calmly. 9. Jalea's walking calmly. Can you get it to Michael? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Let me see who's sitting flat on their bottoms. Tracking up here in 2. Okay, Michael, if an alarm goes off, will you just hit stop, please? 1 and 0. Okay, mathematicians. Let me see everyone's beautiful eyeballs. In a moment, this is where we're going to start to check and change our work. So Ms. Bunis is going to show you, Chris, make sure you're sitting down, dude. I'm going to show you some problems. You're going to check your work against what Ms. Bunis has on her paper. If you have the right answer and you have work shown like Ms. Bunis, give yourself a check. If you got a different answer than Ms. Bunis, check what I did, fix mistakes you had, and get that right answer. We're going to go chunk by chunk because my document camera isn't, we love it, but it's not perfect. So it's not going to be able to show you the whole page. So I'm going to show you the first 2 problems, then I'll move it down, and then we'll do questions 5 and 6. Okay, so here we go. Here's the first ones to look at. Check your work against Ms. Bunis's. Fix any mistakes that you have. Check your work. I want to see if you got it right, put a check. If you didn't get it right, add to it. Check question 2. If you got it right, give yourself a check. If you forgot any annotations, add to yours. I see Sage checking her work. Chris checked his work. So check my work against your work, babe. Did we have the same answer? Okay, that's why we checked and changed. All right. See Jalea adding to question number 2. Michael checked and changed his. All right, here we go. Next one. The Post-it note is there for a reason. So 4 is going to be blocked. Check 3, which you can't see. Ha, now you can. Go ahead and check 3. I see Mia checking her work. Cortez is checking his work. Make sure you got my answer. Make sure you have all your work shown. See Tyreek checking that. Nice. Look at all these friends who renamed that 5 holes. Okay, team. Sorry, Ty. Okay, 30 more seconds. Again, look at how I annotated. What word did I underline in 3? Well, that tells me what to do. That's an important word. Make sure you annotated that. Great. What can you show me if you did it too?
Me too.
There you go. All right, team. Moving on to 5. This problem with Maya. Ms. Bunis wants you to notice her annotations on this. Right, Sage is checking her work, adding to annotations. What? Team, this is really important. This problem was asking me to figure out how much in all. So what jot did I write to remind me of how to solve this? Add that jot, because when we jot what we're supposed to do, that helps us solve this problem. Show your work like I did. Add what I did. 30 more seconds to add everything I added. Thanks, Cassie, for being at that level 0. I'm just going to move it over a smidge so that you can also see number 6. Check your annotations. Check the work. Ooh, there's your skip count. Good, 30 more seconds. Okay. Okay, Michael, there's a blank paper on one of those desks over there. Will you come back and bring it to Miss Bunis? She's silly and forgot to do so. Oh well. Okay, team. 30 more seconds. It's okay if we don't get all of it done. Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks, Michael. Mathematicians, pencils down, tracking me in 5. If you don't get everything on here, say that's okay.
That's okay.
No big deal. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So I want us to look at the TV screen. So I see Justice tracking the TV screen. Miss Bunis needs to make sure that it's actually at the right problem. I see Julia checking the screen, same with Elijah. This problem is a meaty, juicy, really great problem, and here's why. We're gonna read this problem, and we're gonna annotate it together, Chris, and then I'm gonna show you something I saw someone in Cornell do yesterday, and we're gonna talk about their strategy. So, read with me, all these words, one voice, here we go, 1, 2, 3. Kelsey observed the park for some of its plants and trees. If
5/12 of the park is covered by tall trees and 3/12 is covered by smaller trees, what fraction of the park is not covered by trees?
Okay, track up here, your thinking job is how does this story or how does this equation match the problem, Tyree? Because this is what someone in Cornell did yesterday. And so, Glenard, as I write this equation, I want you to think, Cortez, how does it match what happened in the problem? Okay, look up there. 12/12. Where is that fraction coming from in this problem? Why did that person in Cornell choose 12/12? Because I want to see you thinking, Zoe, I want to see you thinking. Why did this person start their equation with 12/12? Where did that come from? I need 3 more hands. Where did it come from? Your pencil should not be moving. Where did this 12/12s come from? Because I don't see 12/12s. I didn't annotate that number. Where did it come from? Hands down. Track Chris. So Vaughn tracked right away. Thanks, Q Michael, for setting that shine. Chris, where is this 12/12s coming from?
The 3/12.
What do you mean?
Well, because 3 times 4 equals 12, so that's when you got the 12/12.
It has something to do with that fraction. That's not quite there. Track Justice. Cassie tracked right away.
Because the denominator is both of them is 12, so you just have to put 12, so you could single name from.
Okay, so the 12/12s is a what? It's a fraction, it's a whole. This 12/12s represents the whole park. It represents the whole park. Where did the 8/12s come from? They got 8/12s from somewhere. Where did you see 8/12s in this problem? See, Cassidy's thinking about it, Elijah's thinking about it, Leonard is thinking about it. Look at the problem. Where did they get this 8/12s from? Hands down, Sage and Tyreek, you're going to discuss it. Chris, you're going to turn to track with Kayvon. Javelle, you're going to turn to track with Jerome. The 3 of us are going to be in a group, and the 3 of you are going to be in a group. Turn to discuss with a partner, where did they get 8/12s from? Go.
They got 8/12 from
Sage, make sure you're telling Tyreek. Where did it come from? 20 more seconds.
I thought they were
Voices off, tracking up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Track Cass. Cass, where do they get this 8/12s from?
They get the 8/12 from adding 5, so that's actually 8/12.
Why did they add those 2 fractions together? Why did that make sense in this problem? Why did that make sense to do in this problem? Track Elijah.
to see what the amount is for all the trees.
To figure out what fraction, the amount of all the trees. So I'm going to write, and you should have this label too, covered by trees. What does that mean this 4/12 is telling us? If 12/12 is our whole park, 8/12 is how much is covered by the tall and small trees. What is that 4/12 telling us? What label do I need to add to it from this story? What label am I going to add to it? Christian?
Every
Got this.
You got it.
all cheese that's covered,
What did the A12s represent?
the covered by cheese.
Because how did I get 8/12? What fractions did we add together?
Oh,
Julia?
5 and 5, 12, and 13.
And those were the tall trees and the little trees, the small trees. So these are all the trees. So what fraction is the 4/12? Okay, Vaughn?
Oh, not covered.
Stop. You got it.
Got this right there.
Say it with like you mean it.
Not covered.
Not covered by trees. "30 seconds to add that label, and then I have a really important question to ask. Ten more seconds, and then I need everyone's pencils down. Pencils down in 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and 0. Again, because this is so important, because we're going to see problems like this tomorrow and on the leap and for the rest of our lives. Why did they start with 12/12s? How did they even know to start there? How did they even know to start there? How did they even know to start there? Track key, Michael. That's the whole part. Where did they look to figure out the whole fraction, Javelle?
So they added.
How did they know it was supposed to be 12/12s? Where did they look to figure out this whole fraction? Yes, but what part of the fraction? The what? The denominator. So we can always look at our denominator to figure out that whole number fraction. Go ahead and flip your page to the back in 5, 4, track me up here in 3, 2, 1, and 0. Get your arms free. Okay, in a minute, Castelas, we're going to give ourselves a round of applause because what big thing happened today? What did everyone do? What did every single person do for that first problem?
Nailed it.
We nailed it. So let's give ourselves, get your hands ready. Terry, get your hands ready. We're going to do a literal round of applause. All right, hands still. Here's what I need to have happen. When I say